let us just begin. Namaste yogis, welcome. Melissa here from Mystical Stone. So today's CNEC class is all about repositioning the pelvis, derotating your hips. It will help you with lower back pain and with sciatica pain and also with SI joint pain. Okay, so we're gonna take a blanket and roll it in this way so that you can have a nice support for your lumbar spine. If your pelvis is usually tucked in, is in posterior position and you have not much of a curvature, don't go too big on your support because you will be very uncomfortable. But if you do have a curvature and you do enjoy that back bend, we're going to get there. So have a bolster or pillow handy, your blocks if you have them, or an extra blanket, just so that we can get some exercises going. And finally, you do want a strap. I put myself my strap away, and I did such a good job that I couldn't find it. So I'm using a scarf, but you can use anything you need, you have available. Okay, so to get into the pose, we're gonna get ourselves away from the, I'm gonna turn off my volume because I'm making it a big echo. Okay, there we go. So you're going to lay down away from the chair or couch. Once again, have your blanket handy. Lay down and just measure yourself, making sure that your heels rest on the edge of the chair. You can have an extra blanket or a block under your head, especially if you have high blood pressure or eye pressure. Having the head slightly above the chest is just a nice way to keep the blood off the head, so you don't get dizzy or anything like that. Don't feel that pressure. Then we're gonna take our strap or belt or whatever you have, and we're gonna make a noodle. No, not a noodle. What's the name of this? Knot, a knot. You'll make a knot, and then we'll place it in between your ankles. So you want to have a nice space, about 1 to 2 fist distance space between your feet once you get them relaxed, and then extend your legs and have them on there. But I missed something. Yeah, so you're gonna place your feet on the floor, squeeze your bum, tuck your tailbone, then pick up your hips, and then place your blanket right under your lower back. But you want to make sure that your tailbone goes down again onto the floor. This is going to keep your pelvis into sort of an anterior tilt. But once we extend our legs on the chair, it will go more into a neutral position. It won't be so pronounced anymore. Bring your hands by your sides, palms facing up. Adjust your feet so you can take a look at your feet, making sure that your feet are like in Tadasana standing. So don't let your toes flare. Try to keep your toes falling inwardly, but don't let them touch either. Just the outer edges of your feet, you want them to be parallel to the outer edges of your chair or your mat. Close your eyes with your arms relaxed, and then observe your breath. You want to take your time here just to check in with your body. If there are any adjustments that you need to make, please go for it. So sometimes when we are in this position, one thing that you will notice is that your pelvis might be rotated. So sometimes we have to wiggle the body, move side to side, so that we can find center. And once you relax, you might notice that your pelvis goes back into that rotation, and we're just gonna let it be. It's important just to check in what the body's doing when we're not actually watching. What are the tendencies going on today? Another thing you may notice is that the blanket might be a little bit higher or too low, so you can adjust. You do not want to feel a pinching sensation on your lower back, torquing sensation. You do want to have your that support and feel that your pelvis is a little bit, tilted, that you can feel that lower back arch, but in a comfortable manner. So that's why I was saying you can adjust the blanket and make it a little bit thinner if it's too much. Relax your feet. Relax your ankles. Relax your lower legs. Relax your knees. Relax your thighs. Relax your buttocks. Let your hips be heavy. Do notice if there are muscles of your lower body that don't want to relax. And you usually will find that your quads and your glutes take a little longer. So you can go ahead and mindfully squeeze these muscles and then release them. Same goes with the glutes. If that's happening with the glutes, just gonna squeeze and then release. And then observe how that might changes the position of your pelvis and even the sensation of your lower back. Notice any sensations along your spine. Pay attention if your rib cage is popping forward. It is very common that our upper back, our thoracic spine is also in that arched position, just trying to mimic the lumbar spine. And we're gonna do our very best to release the rib cage onto the floor. Depending on what did you do with your blanket, it may not be happening for you to release your lumbar, your rib cage on the ground, but that's okay. We just allow it to relax. With every inhalation, it's like if you were trying to close the gap between your back and the floor. And with every exhalation, you return to center and observe what that feels like. Filling up with prana, inhale. And empty completely as you exhale. Every time you exhale, you allow your shoulders to be heavy. Relax your arms. You may bring your thumbs and index to touch for Gyan Mudra. Gyan Mudra will help us to send the prana down into the feet, legs, glutes, addressing the root chakra or the Muladhara chakra. Make sure that your neck is soft and neutral. You can have it slightly extended, but don't hyperextend your neck. Soften your facial muscles, your jaw, and continue to breathe deeply. Feel the weight of your legs. So what we're doing here is extending the hamstrings without trying to. We're just letting gravity take over and have a gentle release. And at the same time, we are positioning the pelvis in a way that does allow for the hamstrings to relax and extend without having that extension from the pelvis. Usually what happens is that when we try to extend the hamstrings on the back of the legs, we tend to tuck the tailbone. And when the hamstrings are very tight, they pull the pelvis under, and that creates a lot of problems in our hips, lower back, and then they reflect all over the body. So by having this blanket under the lower back while we extend the hamstrings, we're doing two things at the same time. We are repositioning the pelvis without letting the hamstrings tuck it back in under. And at the same time, we are derotating the hips because we have our prop around our ankles, our strap that won't allow our legs to go wide. And we also are trying not to let the toes flare out. For many of us, just by having this neutrality of the hips is like a big workout. So you might start feeling a lot of sensation on your hip flexors. You might start feeling a lot of sensation on your glutes or the root of your hamstrings. It all depends where your body is holding on to tension. So just pay attention what your body is saying here. We're going to take a couple of long, deep breaths here. Just relax and observe. If you have any concerns with your knees and at one point you start feeling that your knees are no longer happy here, you are welcome to bend the knees and get the chair closer to you, going on to a mild chair shavasana. So you don't need to go full into a 90-degree angle of the knees. You can have a soft bend on the knees so that you can still get into that extension of the hamstrings, but letting the knees relax. There is another thing that's going on here, but while you're letting gravity take over and your knees are extending down towards the floor, you are balancing them out. Sometimes we tend to bend one knee more than the other, and that often creates a limp that when we continually walk with that limp, it starts rotating the pelvis, the hip, and it creates once again a lot of problems. So this position is doing a lot of things with the lower body. So make any adjustments as you need it. And when you take your next inhalation, wiggle your fingers and move your arms at a T position. So from your T position, you're going to take a few moments to once again reassess what your body did. As soon as your arms came up to a shoulder level, chances are that your spine changed position as well. Chances are that your lower body engaged to protect your shoulders, or if something is going on with any area of the body, you'll notice how your body tries to help. Now bend the elbows and bring your palms to face up towards the sky. We're gonna keep the arms at a goalpost posture for a few moments. And once again, notice how your upper back changes position. This position, this goalpost posture has a tendency to stretch your pectoral muscles and also will bring your shoulder blades into the center. There will be a retraction of your shoulder blades or your wings. So notice if that's happening. Some of you will notice the one shoulder blade moves, the other one not so much. And we're gonna try to squeeze them together and then release your upper back and rib cage back onto the floor. On your next breath, gonna bring your elbows closer together very slowly until your palms touch. You don't have to bring your elbows to touch. We'll take a few moments here. Press your palms just gently, but put equal effort on left and right. Hollow up your armpits as you press your palms. And as you take your next exhalation, move your fingertips towards the top, away from your toes, and try to bring your elbows closer together. They don't have to touch. And as you inhale, glide your arms, bring your elbows away from each other, keep pressing your palms. Let's repeat. As you exhale, press your palms together, squeeze your elbows towards each other. No goal of touching. Think about instead of hollowing up your armpits. And then inhale, soften and open your elbows. We're going to continue. You don't have to put too much pressure on your palms. You don't have to put too much pressure on your arms. But you do want to check in with your shoulder blades. We want to target them. We want them to wake up and do their job to protect the shoulder. And I meant shoulders. Continue to move at your own pace, keeping your feet, your legs, and glutes relaxed. Remember that in neck, we're not only trying to realign our bones and our muscles and ligaments, we are also aligning the breath with the movement, and we're setting intention so we keep the mind engaged. If you notice that the one side of your body is not doing so much work, try to engage that one side purposely, like try to get it in. Hollowing up the armpits is one way to recruit the shoulder blades. Some of you will start feeling the fire on the forearms. Some of you will start feeling the fire on your upper arms. You do not want to feel the fire on your neck though, because if so, you're overdoing it. Do a little less and a little slower. Tiny movements go a long way. We'll take 3 more breaths like this. Equal pressure against your palms, gentle pressure from the outer edge of the pinky to the outer edge of your thumb, not big toe. And then when you finish with your 3 breaths, release your hands by your sides, palms facing up. You may close your eyes, notice your heartbeat, and notice your breath. How much did your lower body try to help your shoulders and your arms? Purposely squeeze your upper legs, your glutes. Notice if both glutes are activating or just the one. And then release. We'll do it again. Squeeze your, it's like if you were trying to lift your knees and engage your quad muscles, bring them up, and then squeeze your bum enough that you can feel the engagement of the buttocks without getting the effort into the upper body. Keep your hands relaxed, your face, your jaw relaxed. And then on your next exhalation, release your legs, release your buttocks. Let's do it one more time. Lift the quads, engage the glutes. Breathe. And when you exhale next, release. Every time you release, how does your lower back react? Is there any sensation on your SI joint? Chances are that if you are dealing with that, with SI joint problems, is that one glute is firing up and the other one not so much. Usually when that happens, when we walk, we engage one side more than the other, putting the pressure into that union of your sacral and your iliac, your bone. There's like a butterfly, and they join at the back. So we're gonna do it one more time. Try to squeeze your bum a little more. Start with your quads, lift, and then squeeze your buttocks. And if you notice that the one glute is engaging and the other one not so much, engage the other one purposely. And then don't overdo it with the dominant side. and try to feel your buttocks engaging evenly. Even if you have to release one a little bit more, that's okay. You just want to find that center. Breathe here once you find that place. Keep your feet relaxed, keep your upper body relaxed, including your face and your jaw. We'll take 2 more breaths here, engaging the buttocks and the legs, deep breathing. Notice if you try to balance the glutes, how your pelvis tries to find center. This is happening also when you're standing. It's just that we don't notice because there is no cue here. The floor is helping us to realize how much the glutes are involved in the rotation of the pelvis. Now, when you're ready, relax your muscles and release. Perfect. When you're ready, wiggle your toes and move your feet side to side. You're gonna be super mindful and start bending your knees, placing your arches of the feet on the edge of the chair. We'll take a few moments here, just softening through the knees. You're gonna feel that it's easier for you to find that arch on the lower back. Depending on how you are and how your setting is, if you are able to push your chair away from you, you're gonna do that. If you need to move yourself back, well, you might do that. What you want is to get to the point where your legs get down onto the floor. And once they get down onto the floor, you want to have a little bit of tension on your strap. Keep flexing through your feet, press your heels away, and then relax your feet. You don't have to keep flexing for this one. We're just gonna relax here, and you'll notice that there is a lot of things going on across your pelvis, your lower back, and maybe you notice the one side is more sensitive than the other. Unless it's pinching, we're gonna try to breathe through the sensation here. Try to keep your feet relaxed. Bring your arms towards the sky, hands together, interlace your fingers, and then extend your index and extend your thumbs. So from here, draw your shoulders into their sockets. And as you inhale, move your pointers overhead. All the way to the top of your lungs, and there is no goal to touch the floor. And then when you exhale, arms up slowly. Keep your fingers relaxed. So although your mudra is firm, it is not tense. Find your rhythm. Inhale. Now we're trying to relax the legs. If your legs are activating, let them go. And notice how the movement of your upper body might be affecting the sensations of your feet, ankles, maybe when your calves are talking to you. How about your lower legs, your hamstrings, and your glutes? If you notice that they fire up to compensate, once again, relax them over and over if you have to. The slower you breathe and move, the better. Keep your elbows extended. Don't let your mind wander. Last breath. Release your hands by your sides. Palms are facing up. Observe. Now, when you are ready, flex your feet. Press your heels away from you. Try to get the legs down onto the floor. Notice how that changes the sensations and perhaps even the position of your pelvis, your hips. Try to bring your toes in just a little bit and maybe take a look and make sure that the outer edges of your feet are parallel. Hands on your rib cage and allow your rib cage to ground. Keep activating your legs, pressing through your heels, and expanding with every breath. We'll take one more breath here, full deep breath. And release your feet, release your hands, and watch your breath. When you are ready, bend your knees and bring your foot soles on the floor. Walk your feet apart until you feel gentle tension on the strap, and walk your knees away from each other until you feel they are in line with your toes. You want your feet parallel, so you may have to move your toes slightly inward. So many of us have the tendency to turn the toes out, so we won't let that happen. Now from here, you can bring your hands on your rib cage if you like, just to make sure that we're not overly arching the thoracic spine. When you're ready, lift the toes and spread them wide. And you want to make sure you're putting weight on the outer edges of your feet. And also press the toe mount onto the floor. Now from here, release your toes on the ground without gripping and squeeze your buttocks without letting the knees move in. Squeeze your bum until you feel left and right are engaging evenly. And then release. Notice how much your legs helped. I know mine did, so check on yours. When you're ready, squeeze your bum. Don't let your toes grip. Don't let your knees move. And exhale, release. We'll do it one more time, 3 times. When you're ready, squeeze your buttocks. Stay here. Balance left and right. Pay attention if your quads are activating, if your abdomen is activating. Try to relax the rest of the body. All we're doing is recruiting the glutes. We're trying to isolate the muscles. We may not be able to do it. That's okay, but notice what muscles are trying to help. And then release. That's how much compensation is happening in our bodies. So let's do one more just for fun. When you're ready, squeeze. And notice if there was one side of your body that wasn't maybe engaging as much, maybe you're able to target that muscle now. Is there any sensation on your lower back as you engage your glutes, or is there any adjustment of the pelvis as you balance left and right? And when you are ready, exhale and release. We're gonna keep the blanket under the lumbar spine, and you may free your feet. You can take your strap, or if you have a belt or a scarf like me, you're gonna Undo the knot. And keep your feet on the ground. So walk your toes together, let them touch, and then your heels away from each other. And then lift your toes and let them point straight forward. Once you have about 1 to 2 fist distance between the toes, bring your right knee in and place the strap on the ball of the right foot. Once you get that, extend your leg until your thighs are at the same level. So you want them to be parallel. If you're quite flexible and you have the tendency to bring the leg up, don't. We're not gonna go there. We're going to reposition, remember, our pelvis. So we're gonna get our thighs together. We're gonna get the shoulders into their sockets. So give yourself enough length with your strap. Try not to hold too close to the foot. And chances are that some of you are already talking, like your hip flexors might be talking to you now. Look at your foot and see if you can flex through that foot and have the outer edge of it parallel to the outer edge of the mat. So you're a little bit in a pigeon-toed position. Keep breathing here. There's really nothing going on except that your pelvis is in anterior position and you are engaging your quads on your right leg and your hamstring is getting a gentle release. We're not overdoing it. When you are ready, turn your toes out to the right and keep your legs closer together. They can be about a fist distance apart. They might be closer depending on your thighs. That's okay. See if you can release your left toes on the floor, but don't let them grip. We'll take one more breath, and when we're ready, we're gonna turn the toes in. So depending on the position or the rotation of your pelvis, when you turn your toes in, it might not look like they're turned in, there might be look center, but you can feel that rotation right from your hip, which takes me to the next cue. You want to make sure that you're rotating the whole leg, not just from the ankle or from the knee down, right from the thigh bone. You can feel that movement into your hip socket. We'll breathe deeply here. Come back to center when you're ready. Gonna release the foot from the strap and then with control, let your leg go down. Press your heel away from you. Press, press, press. And then extend that left leg. Press your heel away from you and then release. And then notice if there is any difference between left and right. Maybe your hips feel a little bit, or your pelvis feels a little more leaning towards the right now. I'm gonna get onto the other side. When you're ready, slowly and mindfully bend your knees and bring your foot soles onto the floor. Did you feel that when you bend your knees, you feel that one foot felt a little closer to the floor than the other? Yes? No? You're gonna bring your toes together and then let your heels move away from each other and then allow your toes to point straight forward again. So once you have 1 to 2 fist distance, gonna take your strap and place it on the ball of the left foot. Flex your foot once more, and then we're gonna get the legs at the same level. So we are not looking for hypermobility or hyperflexibility. We are aiming in this class for functional mobility and functional flexibility. So we want our muscles to function in a way that allows to move without pain and still allows us to do the things that matter to us. So from here, we're gonna get the legs at the same level. And my hip flexor is complaining. I don't know about yours, but mine is not so happy. There. And so flexing the foot and breathing here. Look at your foot and make sure that the outer edge of it is parallel to the outer edge of the mat. Your right toes are lifted and you're putting equal weight on the outer and inner edge of the right foot. And then you can release your right toes on the floor, but make sure that they're not tense. Turn your left toes out to the left. Make sure the whole leg goes so your knee and your toes point to the left. And whenever you're ready, come back to center and turn your toes to the right. Breathe deeply. Bring your toes back to center. Release your strap to the side and then slowly and mindfully bring that left foot down. When it finally reaches the floor, press your heel away from you, like if you were trying to touch your chair, if it's still there. And once you feel your leg almost touching the floor or touching the floor, you're gonna slowly let that right leg down too, flex, push your heel, and then release, relax your hands and observe your breath. Now, if you have support under your head, I'm gonna get it out for now. Gonna use your hands, lift the head, tuck your chin slightly, and then release the back of the head onto the floor. So you feel that gentle extension on the back of the neck. We just want to make sure the neck is not flat on the floor. Then bend your knees and bring your foot soles on the ground. Squeeze your bum, pick up the hips, move your blanket out of the way, and slowly and mindfully release your hips back down. And then once more, extend your legs, hands by your sides, palms up, and notice. So notice how the lower back arch really releases now to the floor. Like some of you, especially if you often have a very pronounced lower back arch, when we go into Shavasana, you start feeling the spine a little closer to the floor. After all the work we did with the back and with the legs, so you might be able to feel that your lower back has decompressed and it feels a little closer. When you're ready, bend your knees, bring your foot soles on the ground, and bring your knees in towards your chest. Hold them. I'm gonna rock side to side, massage in the back. Breathe. Getting really into the sides And then the other side. You may go all the way down. And come back to center. Bring your knees wide apart. You can hold onto the creases of the legs, inner edges. Gonna go into onto happy baby. You can hold onto your ankles, or you may hold onto your big toes or the outer edges of your feet, and you may rock side to side. Come back to center when you're ready. Bring your foot soles together, then your knees together, feet down. We're gonna slowly and mindfully move onto our favorite side, lay on a fetal position for a few moments. Use your top hand to slowly help yourself up on your next exhalation. And we're gonna take the blanket, the same blanket you had under your lower back, and we will place it under the navel. Bring your big toes to touch, heels out, and go into your crocodile position. So you want your pubic bone touching the floor. You want to feel now that your lower back is released, so you have little to no curvature on your lumbar spine. Stack your hands and rest your forehead down. Breathe slowly, breathe mindfully. Keep your forehead down on your hands and keep guiding your breath into your lower parts of the body. So you're gonna feel your lower belly maybe expanding onto the floor, but you really want to send the breath into your lower back, mid back, upper back. Feel your body expanding sideways, and then exhale, release. Continue to breathe slowly, mindfully, and turn your gaze to your right. If this doesn't suit your neck, keep your forehead then on the floor. That's okay. But if it feels right, then you may take your left hand by your hip, palm facing up, and we're just gonna stay here in this half crocodile. No need to take your knee out to the side. We're gonna try to keep the hips balanced for this one. So usually we take one knee out. We're gonna try to stay with the big toes touching and the heels out and gaze to the right. And just notice how that change in position of your head has an effect all the way down into your lower back. Whatever is going on with your cervical spine, your thoracic spine, it has some effect on the rest of the body. So notice. Let us take one more breath here, full deep breath. And when you are ready, gonna bring your hands under the forehead, back to center. We'll take a few moments here, not rushing, checking if your pelvis adjusted, as well as your head and your neck. And then we're gonna turn the head the other way. And if that feels okay for the neck, we can stay here, looking to the left, maybe bringing the right arm by the hip, palm facing up, maybe moving the left arm away from the face, like hugging on the floor. And so while your head is sideways, you're trying to balance out your body, your upper body, your hips, and your breath. Don't let your mind wander.
Let us take one more breath here, full deep breath. And slowly and mindfully return to center when you're ready. Hands under the forehead, breathe deeply. We'll take one more breath, full deep breath. And when you are ready, bend your knees and bring your feet towards the sky. Keep your feet together, knees together. When you're ready, allow your feet now to go out to the side. So you're just gonna get your ankles wide. You're gonna feel that openness of your SI joint. So some of you will get that sensation right away. If it feels okay for you, we're gonna start rotating the ankles inwardly. And you may count 20, or maybe you count 40. No need to go fast. And what you do want to do is to go really deep into the edges of the circles that you draw with your feet. Keep your forehead down and breathe deeply. Notice how the movement of your ankles have an effect on your lower back, your sacrum area. Rotate the opposite direction when you're done with your rounds. And count the same amount. The slower, the better. But it's not about how many circles I can make or how many circles I go for, but try to make full circles. When you are done with your rounds, come back to center. Release your feet together and then let them go down. Big toes touching, heels out. Observe. Bring your hands under the shoulders as you inhale. And as you exhale with control, push yourself up. Once you are up on your knees, you can take your blanket and place it under your knees. From tabletop, press the top of the feet on the floor. Stack your joints. Send your tailbone up as you inhale, drop your belly, open your chest, look forward or up. And exhale, tuck the tailbone, draw your navel in, push your shoulder blades away from each other, let your head dangle. Inhale, tailbone first, let it rise. Drop your belly, open your chest, blades together, gaze forward or up. And exhale, tuck your tailbone, navel in, blades apart, head down. Find your rhythm and slowly breathing here. Last round. Come back to center and move your hips side to side. Awesome. Move yourself to center, walk your hands towards your knees and come back up to an upright position. So from this position, you want to look at your knees and have about a fist distance between them. Press the top of the feet on the floor and move your pelvis so that you have your pubic bone and your hip bones at the same level. Then you may notice that you have the tendency to lean back, and we're gonna try to stack shoulders, rib cage over the hips, hips over the knees, just like if we were on Tadasana. And then the feet, we want to press the top of the feet onto the floor. So shin bones go down towards the ground. Glutes are active. Bring your hands, like bend your elbows and bring your fingertips forward. This one is fun. Or maybe not, we'll see. So we do this one standing, we're gonna do it here. So we're going to start moving the arms like if you were running, and breathe. Elbows back and forward. Keep breathing. Really fast. Fingers are extended, so we don't make fist, we don't want to engage the shoulders. Keep breathing. The movement of the arms is fast, but the breath is slow. Let's see if we can go a little faster with the arms. Tuck your chin a little bit, maybe faster. We have a tiger behind us. Keep breathing. Now you've remembered this one, the tiger one. Maybe faster. Don't let your pelvis rotate. Try to engage your glutes so your pelvis stays what it is. Notice your legs trying to help. Faster. And center and release. Oh boy, shoulders back and down. Awesome. Bring your hands to your sides, palms face forward. Press the back of the head towards the sky. If you're comfortable here, you may close your eyes and breathe. If your hips are over the knees and your shoulders are over the hips, when you close your eyes, your balance should stay. If you start, however, getting very wobbly, then you know that there is something going on. Maybe we have to find that center of gravity. And do not worry if you don't find it today. That's why we're here. It's a process. Breathe deeply. Open your eyes, tuck your chin, bring your hands down to the floor. Depending on your knees, if it works for you, we push it together. Sit back on your heels, stack your hands or your fists, and rest your forehead down. If your knees say no, thank you, we're gonna walk the body forward until we find that place that the knees will allow. And then we're gonna do the same. Stack the hands or fist, forehead down, stay and breathe without putting any tension on the back of the neck. If child's pose or cat stretch, if your hips are up, it's a cat stretch, are not suitable today, come up onto your tabletop position and you can go on to cat cows again, and that's okay too.
Let us take 2 more breaths here. And when you're ready, bring your hands all by your sides, maybe under the shoulders or maybe in front, and slowly come up onto your table position. We're gonna change onto our backs. No fancy way, just find your way onto your back. Have a blanket or a block or 2 blocks handy, and you may have your bolster if you want to end up with the support under the knees. If not, you can just get a blanket or the blocks. So I'm gonna do it with a blanket in case you don't have blocks at home, so you can see how you can do it still. So you're gonna take a blanket and fold it a few times until you get something about 5 inches wide. You want to make sure that it's it's folded evenly. So you're gonna place it in between your knees. And once you're on your back, you're gonna bring the feet onto the floor. Tuck your tailbone this time. Release your lumbar spine on the ground. You can have your hands on your hip bones and pubic bone, and your pubic bone might be even higher this time because we are going into posterior tilt. Then release your rib cage and then relax your hands. Feet are active, toes are lifted, maybe even spread them wide. Relax your glutes and squeeze your blanket or your blocks as you exhale, like if you were juicing them. And then inhale, release. Notice if your glutes try to help, and you're gonna relax the glutes. Again, exhale, squeeze. Inhale, release. If your glutes keep activating, you're squeezing too much. So let us do 75% of our strength. Exhale, squeeze, and hold and breathe. Relax your glutes. Keep squeezing, but relax your glutes. Relax your hands, your face, your jaw. And then release. Release your toes on the floor. No gripping. Now squeeze your buttocks, but don't move your legs together. Just the glutes. That's it. They were trying to help before, so now we're gonna let them do it. But now the legs want to do it too, so we're not gonna let the legs now. And then release the glutes. And we'll do it again. Squeeze the glutes, just the glutes. So you're still holding your prop between your legs, but you're not squeezing them anymore. And then release. Again, your glutes. Exhale, squeeze. Hold and breathe. And just like we did at the beginning of the practice, we do want to try to engage left and right evenly to the best of our ability. And notice how that adjusts the rest of your body. Are your feet trying to help? Can you relax your feet? Can you relax your legs and your abdomen, your face and your jaw? And then release. You may put your prop aside. You can have your bolster under the knees if you want. And when you're ready, walk your feet together with your bolster or without it, and allow your foot soles to touch and let your knees flare. Pubic bone and hip bones this time go at the same level, parallel to the floor. Same with the rib cage, let it ground. Bring your hands comfortably by your side so you can have them on an A-frame, T position, star pose posture, whatever works for you, goal pose posture. And then allow your body to relax with every breath. Notice if your glutes are trying to help this hip opener, and we're gonna try to relax them. This is our final asana, great equalizer for the pelvis and for the spine. One more breath, full deep breath. And at your own time, you may bring your knees up and then extend your legs. Relax on your Shavasana. You can have your bolster under the legs if you choose, or you can go on to a old-fashioned Shavasana, whatever works for your hips or your lower back. Rising and falling. Let us take one more breath here, full deep breath. Those of you who need to stay longer in your Shavasana, you are more than welcome to stay there and relax until you're ready to come up. Those of you who are ready to come up, we're gonna wiggle the toes on the next breath and fingers. And stretch your arms overhead and tense every muscle from toes to fist and make a prune face. Tight, tight, tight. And then exhale, release. And we'll do it again. Inhale deeply and stretch and tense and squeeze. And release. And last one, make it count. Inhale, stretch and tense. And we're going to send into the hands whatever it is that we don't need to carry around anymore. And exhale. Let it all go. If there is any stretch your body is calling for, you can go for it now. Otherwise, and at your own time, you're gonna bend your knees and bring your feet on the ground and go into your favorite side. Lay on a fetal position for a few moments and watch your breath. Use your top hand to slowly help yourself up on your next exhalation. Now to sit, you can sit on your bolster or pillow or blocks if you have handy. You can go cross-legged or you can bring your legs into a V shape if that feels better for your knees. So whichever position works for you, I'm gonna adjust your pelvis, maybe remove the extra flesh out of the way so that we can't find those sit bones and elongate the spine. Bring your hands together in Anjali Mudra. Dock your chin onto your chest slightly, elongating the spine, but still releasing the shoulders. Notice the sensations of your hips, your lower back. We're going to seal our practice with our metta mantra. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I be brave. May I be peaceful. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you be brave. May you be peaceful. May all be happy. May all be healthy. May all be safe. May all be brave. May all be peaceful. Inhale through your nostrils, expand. And through your nostrils, exhale. Inhale to Om. Om.
Observe. Tuck your chin onto your chest and open your eyes for our closing ritual. Gaze forward. Build up the extra good vibes and shower yourself with your own prana. And then remember to use the same energy to shake off whatever it is that's still in your energetic field that you don't need to carry around anymore. Thank you, yogis. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.